Life, the program for all America, brought to you by Liquid Prel, the shampoo that is extra rich to leave your hair looking radiantly alive. And Gentle Joy, the dishwashing liquid that's made to be mild 3 times a day. And now, here he is, Mr. This Is Your Life himself, Ralph Edwards.
Thank you very much. Welcome to This Is Your Life, everybody. Now, this doorway symbolizes a real house on Berkeley Avenue in Los Angeles. And over this door, we should have put the words, "Blessed is this house." In the real house live a man and his wife who took 9 steps to happiness. So come walk the 9 steps with me and see a part of their harvest, will you? Hello there, Bob.
Hello, Ralph.
Hello, Gary.
Hey, Ralph.
Hello, Delmar. Hello, Bill.
Hey, Ralph.
Hello, Harry.
How you doing?
Hello there.
Come on.
Louise.
Hello, Ralph.
Hello, Gloria. Hello, Vivian. Hello, Coy Jr. Yes, there is just part of the reward won by this man and wife you're to meet. 3 lovely daughters and 6 handsome sons. Love made visible. The Watson children, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you're looking fine tonight, too, boys and girls. Mr. and Mrs. Coy Watson Sr. are 2 subjects for tonight. 2 subjects, you see, have left their home, and they think they're on their way to a family anniversary party. Now, I'm going outside our NBC building now and surprise them. Take over, will you, Bob Warren, boy?
Certainly will, Ralph.
I'll be back now. You
All the Watson children now are leaving our stage steps to hide so that they can return and surprise their parents later. On the concrete steps of the Watsons' house, done very simply, are the names of their children in the order of their birth, each step with the child's handprint pressed into the concrete. But impressions more lasting than concrete were made in this house, impressions of an American way of life. Now, let's join Ralph Edwards out in front.
Excuse me, Mr. and Mrs. Coy Watson Sr., will you step out here a minute, please? Goodness, good to see you. Now, a friend of your family was to deliver some photographs here at NBC, is that right?
That's right.
Come on out, please, Miss Watson, will you? Well, some photos are being taken of you this minute, I'll tell you that. Now, easy, here we go, because some television pictures right in there, coast to coast. I'm Ralph Edwards, and tonight, Mr. and Mrs. Coy Watson Sr. of Los Angeles, this is your life. Yes. Are you wondering why we chose you to be on This Is Your Life?
Haven't the slightest idea.
Is this a surprise?
Because we've had 9 kids, I suppose.
That's part of it. It's what you and the 9 kids mean to one another, really. It's because you have a secret you may not realize you possess, the key to happiness. Also because you, Mr. Watson, are one of the very interesting pioneers of motion picture history. Now, we're on our way to the chair of honor. Let's go. And as we go, please listen carefully and watch this important message.
I love to indulge myself in fashionable little luxuries like this. Don't you? One of my pet luxuries is Liquid Prel. The extra rich shampoo. Extra rich. More luxurious than any other shampoo I've ever tried.
So different from thin, watery, and wasteful shampoos, Liquid Prel is extra rich. It bursts into such lavish lather, nourishes, never starves the beauty of your hair, leaves your hair fresh, sweetly clean, looking radiantly alive. Extra rich Liquid Prel is one of the little luxuries that mean so much. Don't you owe yourself and your hair a little luxury? Why not try Emerald Green Liquid Prel, the extra rich shampoo.
Sit over here, Mr. Watson, and we'll put Mrs. Watson here. Come on, young lady. We got a long way to go. We rarely do 2 people's lives at once. but you two wove a marvelous fabric of tenderness and humor. Come on, get over here, close together. Let me take your hat. Did you say you were hungry?
Well, I was supposed to be going out to eat to my sons to a party.
She says, the trouble is, I'm so hungry. If you got a sandwich over there, Ax, or someone
no.
bring one. Is that all right?
No,
I'll put your hat behind here because Bob Warren is known to walk off with them, and so we'll leave it there. I know the gates of all our hearts will open just as wide as yours tonight. As we say, Mom and Pop Coy Watson, this is your life. Memories for you first, Coy Watson. A Salvation Army band on street corners in Seattle, Denver, Los Angeles. You a boy singing hymns, your sisters passing the tambourine. After school, you deliver special delivery letters, but in style, in a uniform on a white pony, right? On your rounds, you gather sour olives off the trees. Your parents are against alcoholism and fight it the Salvation Army way. Now, your way to fight it is to distribute those sour olives. Where did you distribute them, Mr. Watson?
I used to have the 9 o'clock when the owl would come in from Frisco to get that special run at all downtown letters, special delivery letters.
Sure.
A lot of them would be in the saloons, and at that time they used to have a colored fellow stand there carving the meat, and he'd fix you a little sandwich, and they'd have olives and everything. I carried a bag with my letters in it, see, and I had this bag, a big handful of these green olives, you know.
Yeah.
I'd reach over and take a handful out of the dish, all there was, and then put these green ones in, see? And
the fellas drinking wouldn't like that, would they?
especially if he was a little bit tipsy, see?
Yeah.
He'd reach over and get one of these olives and start to eat it, and oh, boy, that's my cue to leave.
Liable to start a whole new cure all over America, you know. Adventurous, a fine physical specimen. In your teens, you hear of homestead land available in Oregon. You get land fever in the year 1911.
Cocky, you talked me into riding our motorcycles into Oregon.
What do you call it?
I wouldn't have gone if I'd known there weren't any roads.
Guy called you cocky, so you must know who it is. It's your buddy of 47 years ago, whom you called Hooley Webb, from Springville, California, not by motorcycle, Mr. Lawrence Webb, and here he is. Oh, that was a rugged trip, I guess, but did you get land, Mr. Webb?
Well, no, but Cocky
Got
had
me.
paid dirt a few times, right over the head of his motorcycle onto his head.
He fell off the motorcycle, huh? I guess he did hit pay
But
dirt.
he did accomplish a couple of things in Medford, Oregon. I taught him the plastering business, and he won a motorcycle race. And thereby he attracted the attention of a certain young lady named Miss Goldie Weimar.
Yes, and that was you, Mrs. Watson. Well, I'm not surprised you were the talk of the town, that motorcycle race, Mr. Watson. What did you wear to attract attention?
Well, I was supposed to ride a brand-new Thor belt-driving machine.
Yeah.
Mine was a little 3.25 horsepower Thor, and I'd rode it up there into the desert roads and the wagon roads, and no pavement in them days.
Did you put a cook's hat on?
I put a cook's hat on.
And what'd you put in the gasoline tank?
I couldn't.
Ether? Well, you probably hope to put up a smoke screen for your rivals, huh?
Well, I couldn't ride this good motor, and I had to take the old one. I didn't have a chance with 4-cylinder and 2-cylinder Harley Davidsons and all that stuff, so
Yeah.
I did the best I could to keep the reputation of the old Thor up, and I had 8 ounces in a gallon of gasoline, and when I started around the track, boom, they shot, and I had guys to push these fellows, give them a start, and I was on my way, and that blue smoke was blowing out. I hit the curve, and these guys...
No wonder he attracted your attention.
Off the track, clear out in the plowed field, the first one.
Well, I want to thank you for starting the story of this lifetime romance for us, Mr. Lawrence Webb, motorcyclist of Springville, California. We'll talk a lot about this later at the party. In this same golden summertime of 1911, you, Gladys Golda Weimer, loved to whirl on roller skates, eat watermelon, and flirt at dances with a head full of dreams, and your best dream was...
To find a husband and have a family. Goldie always wanted to be a homebody.
Yes, the voice of the girl who lived a block away in your birthplace of Staten, Oregon. Her hometown now is Portland, Oregon. Here for a grand reunion with you after 20 years, Dina Mack, Mrs. Dina Mack.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's see, was it a circus, yeah. There's Coy.
Sure. She gave me a plug.
Yeah, is that what you do, make hats?
Uh-huh.
Well, the one you're wearing tonight is beautiful.
Born in France.
Well, it was at a circus that Coy here managed at last to meet Goldie. Is that right, Miss Mack?
He couldn't miss seeing her. He roared around town on a motorcycle, and the night they met, Goldie couldn't miss seeing because he had on a green suit and a yellow shirt and a brown hat and a red tie. Wow.
Did Coy try to get you to speak to him, Miss Watson?
No, I was introduced to him, and I wasn't particularly interested in him, so I was looking the other way, and he told me I was watching a hoochie-coochie dance. But he ran his finger up and down my back.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I said, cut it out, you mutt.
You didn't speak to him for weeks, Miss Watson, but 3 days after their first date, you said you'd marry him. 3 days after your first date. Thank you, Mrs. Dina Mack of Portland, Oregon. You'll see him a little later. Bride of 17, a proud young husband, Coy brings you to Los Angeles when vast parts of a now vast city were just hills and pastures. But today, that area is in the heart of metropolitan Los Angeles. 9 children are to be born right at home in that first small house. Yes, the buds of tomorrow were blossoming. And from your first step to happiness, here is the first bud, your son, Coy Watson, Jr., ace photographer for top newspapers, for the Coast Guard and Navy in World War II, inventor and famed news cameraman for TV. A son to be proud of. Sit down, folks, now, and tell us what lent color to your first boyhood memories. Coy, Jr.
Well,
He was always hungry.
First movie studios, of course, began to grow up, didn't they?
that's right, Ralph. I suppose Dad was the big thing in my first boyhood memories, and the fact that we lived in the area where the first studios in California were built, in Old Edendale. And there was the first scene, first location of the Max Sennett Studios and Clara Kimball Young, the old Bison studio. And, well, I don't know.
You played your first part when you were 9 months old, didn't you?
That I did.
In a
You
West.
probably remember that, do you, Dad?
Not a speaking part, of course. And you, Coy Sr., busy as a plasterer of houses, see in these strange new neighbors of yours an opportunity. You buy a horse, is that right? Did you? Yeah, and between plastering jobs, you rode as a cowboy or Indian for the movies. And from the start, your father, though, missed no chances to earn a dollar for his family. Isn't that right, Coy Sr.?
That's right. That's right. Old Dad was always on the ball. As I recall, one of the funny stories of Dad's ingenuity was when the old veranda along the side of the house had begun to wear out pretty well, and we were badly in need of a new one. And at the same time, Sennett's was making a comedy that had an automobile chase in it. And Dad got the idea that if he could do a little finagling here, why, he'd get them to use the veranda in the picture, and they did. And the day came, all the neighbors turned out. The car came rolling across the vacant lot, hit the side of the house, zoomed down the side, taking out all the posts along, and down come the veranda with a big crash. The crowd got a big laugh out of it. And
We got a new room.
You got a new veranda. Thank you, Coy Watson, Jr. In a moment, Mr. Miss Watson, we'll continue with your glowing story, which reflects to all America like a mirror, the very best in American life. But first, a word or two that will be of interest to all of you.
More dishes.
You're the most helpful father-in-law there ever was. Now, you're my lunch guest. You just sit over there and visit a while.
What's that stuff?
Joy, just wonderful for dishes.
That's so? Why?
'Cause I have to put my hands in hot dishwater 3 times a day.
Isn't that too bad?
Yes. So I have to use something that's mild enough for 3 times a day. And that's joy. I even put a little joy in my bath water.
Now I've heard everything.
Why, sure. Joy's mild enough for a bubble bath, and I guess that's mild enough for my hands. Look.
They look pretty nice to me.
I like to keep my hands nice for that son of yours I married.
Joy. Hey, you know what? I'm going to stop in the store and get some of this joy for Grandma on the way home.
For the first time in its history, This Is Your Life is presenting a married couple, 2 lives as one, the story of Mr. and Mrs. Coy Watson, Sr. of Los Angeles, California. Well, it's 1915 now. You, Golda, busy with your homemaking. You, Coy, plastering and writing in movies. Always learning. And, of course, something happened. There was never any question about your both wanting it to happen. Another baby. The second step. Here she is from her home in Jacksonville, Oregon. Mrs. Floyd Wyatt, your first daughter, Vivian. Housewife and a good one. Mother of four, taught by Mom. Oh, my.
I'll tell you later.
So now, very early, you got from Mother and Dad principles, yardsticks, which life is lived by. Didn't you, Vivian?
I sure did, Ralph. Mom and Dad were real proud Americans.
Yes.
And when a national holiday came around, boy, we really celebrated.
I'll bet.
And did. Boy, we sure did. And Coy Jr., we'd raise the flag every Sunday morning, and Coy Jr. would get out there and blow his bugle, and Dad would pull up the flag, and it got later when there were 9 of us.
Yeah.
They got to be a regular neighborhood.
Spectacular.
That's right.
Well, you were a big believer in Dad and Mother yourself, Vivian. True?
Very true. I believe they could do anything. When I was in an accident, and they were taking me to the hospital, and I begged the people to take me home and let my dad do it, and I really believe he could have, too.
Do what?
So what, my face?
Oh, I see it. I bet he could have done it, too. Thank you, daughter Vivian. Mrs. Floyd Wyatt of Jacksonville, Oregon. 1917. By now, Mr. Watson, you've graduated to being a movie prop man and are making a start as an assistant director. But still, movie work was, as always, spotty. When there wasn't a dollar in the sugar bowl, there still was never any fear in your hearts. And so, a new baby, the third step, Mrs. Morgan Dean of Burbank, California, your second daughter, Gloria. Another housewife trained by Mom, mother of 3.
Fourth of July baby.
She's a 4th of July baby, yes. Of all our national days, what was the one that really meant the most to you children, Gloria?
Oh, that's easy to answer, Ralph. Mother's Day.
Sure.
And I remember one Mother's Day when we were all just got home from Sunday school, and we girls didn't have money to buy her a gift, so Mother and Daddy were still at church, so we went out and raided the neighbors' yards and got a lot of roses, and we took the petals and we made a path from the sidewalk to the front door. And Mother really looked like a queen as she walked down that
path of roses. Thank you. Daughter Gloria, Mrs. Morgan Dean of Burbank, California. Now, from the 4th step, here is your 4th child, Louise, Mrs. Joe Roberts, also of Burbank, California. Here's Louise, also marching in Mom's footsteps. Louise has 2 children so far. Give us your
It's hard to keep quiet.
Give us your memories.
Well, Ralph, the memory that's dearest to me is that we were always rocked to sleep, and we were told stories. I think the story that sticks with me the most is the story we told Billy. And we told Billy that if he put his teeth under the pillow, that the fairies would leave him pennies or nickels. Mm-hmm. Well, he really believed
it. What are you laughing at, Mom?
It's just my fault.
Oh, you're telling him.
That was my guess.
There goes the punchline. He was going to make a big haul, huh? Why go for one when you can get the whole works? So he took Mom. How long did it take to find him?
Oh, we never did. They went through the washer in the bed.
Joining you, Louise, is the next little Watson who was rocked to sleep. From the 5th step, a second brother, Mr. Harry Watson. As a boy actor, he made movies with Fred Astaire and W.C. Fields, and later won fame as a wartime photographer with General MacArthur in the Pacific. Now, movie newsreel cameraman for KTTV television. Another success. By your arrival in 1921, your father had become well known as an inventor of props or special effects in movies. Was he as inventive at home, Harry?
Dad was always real ingenious for ideas. I remember one stormy, rainy day, we didn't have enough galoshes and overshoes to wear to school, so Dad got a bucket full of, that was a special formula of tallow and wax. And he melted that and put that on our shoes, and it worked fine till we got to school, and the teacher said, put your shoes on the radiator to dry out. And that wax would melt, and that tallow smelled, and the whole room was...
Thank you, Louise, Mrs. Joe Roberts, and son, Harry Watson of Tahunga, California. again, the sixth step to happiness, another boy, Bill Watson, a son who is to win honors as a child star in The Little Minister, in Old Chicago, and other pictures. Bill, your home knew a lion's share of happiness and fun, but there were times of crisis, too, weren't there?
Oh, man, you know it. I remember one time especially when we all had what we called the Great Scarlet Fever Siege.
Yes.
Man, we had it. Not all at once. That was too easy. One at a time. One would finish it, the other one would get it. Right down the line.
5 months. Oh.
Yeah, quarantined for 6 months.
Oh.
Yeah, and after that, why, Louise had it, and they thought, well, this is the last one. So they got us up, and Mom and Dad put us in the tub and bathed us. Got us all cleaned up. We were going for an outdoors party. We got about as far as the door, and over the tumult of excitement, I heard Mom's voice in the back. Oh, no, Gloria! Gloria had it, so that was it.
Oh. Now, Gloria was born on the 4th of July, as we found out, and Bill was born on Christmas Day. Tell us, Ms. Watson, where all your children went to sing every Christmas since they were little tots.
Well, we always go caroling. We still do.
Yes.
But we used to go to the French Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
We went there for a number of years, and it just got too much.
Now, from your 7th step to happiness comes the son born in 1926. Here's Delmar Watson.
I know me.
Another news and wartime Coast Guard photographer, and a child movie star with Shirley Temple and Heidi, and other pictures. Now, at the time, you're a little fella. Your dad is making movie history with his spectacular special effects for Douglas Fairbanks, right, Delmar?
Yeah, Dad created and built and did a lot of devising on the Thief of Baghdad, and he did all the trick wire work and everything, you know, with the flying carpet and the magic rope trick and everything, and besides that, he did the Black Pirate, I think it was, and he had all those guys swimming on wires, supposedly underwater, you know, making
the Fairbanks.
Yeah, that
I
was the
remember
Fairbanks.
that. By 1927, you begin to spend more time, Mr. Watson, managing, coaching, and advising with your children. Isn't that right, Del?
Yeah, he really put us through our paces. I remember the studios used to call up for us to go out on an interview or something, you know, for a test part and whatnot. And Dad would dress us all up in the clothes that he thought would be most appropriate, you know, old cowboy clothes or whatever it was. And we get on the set, and the casting director say, "Yeah, that's real fine, but we want a New York type of kid." Dad says, "You want a New York type kid? Okay." He reaches down, pulls out the stuff, strips us right there on the set, down right then and there, boy. We did it. We did it.
Oh.
Never wanted.
Well, thank you, sons Delmar Watson and Bill Watson, today partners with the whole gang in running your family's top photo service, the 6 Watson Brothers Studio here in Los Angeles. They make wonderful pictures. Now, in a moment, more sons to come. But right now, please give your attention to this.
Hey, sis, look. Just push the button, and gleam goes right on the brush. Let me try it. Gee, it's fast. Watch, Mom, how easy it is.
So neat, too.
Yes, and most important, Gleam in the brand new, easy-to-store push-button pack contains the famous Gleam formula. Just like in the tube, the same fresh taste, same exclusive GL70. It's Gleam, the toothpaste for people who can't brush after every meal. You see, the food you eat combines with mouth bacteria, causes both decay and mouth odor. But one Gleam brushing before breakfast destroys most bacteria. Yes, one Gleam brushing destroys decay bacteria, and for most people, stops mouth odor all day. So if you can't brush after meals, even though it's best, get Gleam in the familiar tube or new push-button pack. Gleam for people who can't brush after every meal.
Oh, here is your son, Gary Watson, from the 8th step, born in 1928. Another whiz photographer and child star in such film hits as Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which you made with the other children. Now, your parents were always watching out for you children, weren't they, Gary?
Right. I remember when Mom wanted a new table, and when she finally got it, Dad right away took a saw and he cut all 4 corners off so that we all wouldn't hurt ourselves when we ran around the front room and in the house and everything. But religion played a real big part in our lives. I know that Dad always said prayer before every meal. And he always taught us that Christ was the head of this house, the unseen guest at every meal, the silent listener to every conversation.
You boys have seen a big part of the world. Have your mother and Dad had any vacation trips, Gary?
Only 2. I know that Mom has always had a real secret yearning to go back up to her old stomping grounds, which is Oregon.
Well, Ms. Watson and Mr. Watson, our sponsors, Procter & Gamble, want to make you both a gift of the best vacation trip to Oregon that anybody ever had. You'll go with all expenses paid, and we'll provide transportation for you. And on the way, Procter & Gamble wants you to wear and be able to show off, Mrs. Watson, this beautiful gold charm bracelet from Marshall Jewelers of Fifth Avenue, New York, with events. Look at all the kids peeking around here. With events of your wonderful life and unique charm, and also this Marshall tie clip, cufflinks for you, sir. You'll be able to take movies along the way with your own Bell & Howell 16-millimeter movie camera and show them with your own copy of this program on your own Bell & Howell 16-millimeter sound projector. And by the way, right after the show, there'll be a big party in your honor at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel where your family and friends have been staying. Now, your persistent habit is to give away to your children and grandchildren everything extra in your lives. They just can't keep you from doing this. So you are still driving a venerable old 1941 model car. Well, here are the keys to an exciting new kind of car. The challenging 1959 Edsel Ranger 4-door sedan, and it's all yours. It's beautiful, isn't it? Beautifully efficient, too. Plenty of room, easy to park. And with Edsel's new economy engine, you get lots of go for a lot less gas. Now, don't you give this away, because you'll need your new Edsel to visit all your children. Edsel is terrific. Now, the 9th step, and it's beginning to be a stairway of stars. Your 9th child, Bobs Watson, a son who won 2 Blue Ribbon Box Office Awards helping Spencer Tracy win an Oscar in Boys Town, and is the unforgettable boy Pud in On Borrowed Time with Lionel Barrymore. Well, now, Bob's old feller.
I just have one more story to tell, Ralph, to add to the rest.
Sure.
And that is quite a while ago, around Christmas time, when our family kitty was a pretty thin little kitty.
Sure.
A woman came over to our house to brag to my mother and boast about all the expensive gifts that she had gotten for Christmas. My mother got kind of a twinkle in her eye, and she said, "Well, I want to show you what I got for Christmas," which was a beautiful evening gown. And she went in the other room, and she came out a little bit later on, and she was wearing the one Christmas gift that she had allowed herself that year. An outing flannel nightgown.
Thank you, Bobs, Watson. No wonder your hearts have wings. Mr. and Mrs. Watson, you gave love with joy, and the joy was your reward. But also that love became a flood tide returning to you. Look now, there are all your daughters-in-law, sons-in-law, and 18 adoring grandchildren. 18 so far. Well, there they are. This is your life. Mr. and Mrs. Coy Watson, Sr. of Los Angeles. Your way of life goes on within your loved ones. Surely, through the hands of such as you, through your eyes, the Almighty smiles upon this earth. Good night. God bless you.
Our out-of-town guests have flown to Hollywood via TWA's luxurious Jetstream, featuring exclusive siesta sleeper seats. Fly the finest. Fly TWA Jetstream service.
This Is Your Life has been presented by Gleam, in tubes and new push-button pack, the toothpaste for people who can't brush after every meal. And Gentle Joy, the dishwashing liquid that's made to be mild 3 times a day.
Next week on This Your Life, ladies and gentlemen, a life story. I just got a big kiss. A life story that we feel is one of the most thrilling we've ever done. Be sure to be with us. Good night.
This Is Your Life is a Ralph Edwards production produced by Axel Gruenberg and directed by Richard Gottlieb. Be sure to watch the Loretta Young Show next Sunday night over most of these same stations.